People do not copy what looks popular because they are careless. They copy it because popularity feels like information. Imagine choosing a restaurant in an unfamiliar city. One place is quiet. Another has a line outside. You do not know the kitchen, the staff, or the food. But the line seems to say something. Other people have already taken the risk. So, the busy place feels safer. That is the visible story behind social proof. When many people choose something, we often treat that choice as evidence of quality. Sometimes that is reasonable. A crowded train platform may tell you where others expect the train to arrive. A widely used tool may be widely used because it works. Popularity can compress complicated information into a simple signal. But the mistake is assuming the signal always means what we think. It means popularity does not only measure quality, it can also measure visibility, timing, convenience status, habit, or imitation. A product may become popular because it was easy to find. A phrase may spread because it sounds impressive. A bad choice may gain momentum because early uncertainty made everyone look sideways. The deeper issue is that people rarely make decisions with complete information. Most choices happen under ambiguity. We do not know the best option, so we borrow confidence from the behavior of others. That borrowing is useful, but it has a weakness. If everyone is using everyone else as evidence, then the crowd may stop revealing independent judgment. It becomes a mirror. What looked like proof can become repetition. The first hidden mechanism is simple. Social proof lowers uncertainty. It turns other people's actions into a shortcut for safety. But once that shortcut becomes popular enough, it can create the very crowd it claims to explain. The power of social proof begins with a quiet problem. Deciding is expensive. Not always in money, but in attention, time and risk. To make a fully independent choice, you have to gather information, compare options, imagine consequences, and accept the possibility of being wrong. In daily life, that is often too much work. So, the mind uses shortcuts. One of the most powerful is this. If many people chose it, there is probably a reason. This is not irrational by default. It is a reasonable strategy in uncertain environments. If you are unsure which path is safe, which software is reliable, or which social norm applies, other people's behavior can provide useful data. The problem begins when the data is not independent. Consider how a trend forms. A few early people make a choice for reasons that may be strong, weak, random, or situational. Others see the choice, but not the reasons behind it. They infer quality from adoption. Their adoption then becomes evidence for the next group. Soon, the original reasons matter less than the visible momentum. This is a feedback loop. Popularity attracts attention. Attention creates more adoption. More adoption strengthens the appearance of popularity. The signal begins to feed itself. There is also a status layer. People do not only ask, "Is this good?" They also ask often, silently. What will choosing this say about me? When a choice becomes socially approved, copying it reduces the risk of looking out of step. The crowd becomes not just a source of information, but a shield against judgment. That is why bad choices can spread without anyone intending harm. Each person may be acting sensibly from their own limited position. But when many people use the same shortcut, the system can amplify a weak signal into a powerful one. The crowd does not need to be wise or foolish. It only needs to be visible. Social proof is not always a trap. In many situations, it is one of the best tools people have. If a safety rule is widely followed that may reflect hard-earned experience, if a professional standard is widely adopted that may reduce errors, if many people return to the same service over time that can be evidence of real value. The danger begins when popularity is treated as a substitute for judgment rather than a starting point for judgment. The same mechanism appears in ordinary life. People join long queues, repeat fashionable opinions, buy products with crowded reviews, choose careers that appear prestigious, or stay silent in groups because everyone else seems confident. In each case, the visible behaviour of others reduces uncertainty. But it may also hide the fact that others are uncertain too. This is how social proof can become self-reinforcing. A person copies the crowd because the crowd looks informed. The next person copies that person for the same reason. Eventually, the appearance of confidence becomes stronger than the original evidence. The practical mental model is this. Ask whether the crowd is a signal or an echo. A signal means many people reach the same choice through separate information or experience. An echo means many people are repeating the same visible cue without adding new knowledge. The difference matters. A busy restaurant in a city full of locals may be a useful signal. A product that is popular only because it was promoted heavily may be partly an echo. A belief repeated by many people who all heard it from the same source is not as strong as it sounds. This does not mean rejecting popular choices. It means asking what the popularity is actually measuring. The crowd can reveal wisdom, but it can also conceal uncertainty. And once you see that popularity stops being a final answer, it becomes a question. Are people choosing because they know, or because everyone else appears to know?